Welcome to the second part of our tutorial session for handling missing values. In this tutorial, we are going to cover two subsections of handling missing values. The first one, we are going to see how we can handle missing value using the fillna function, and the second one is interpolate function. You are most welcome. Okay, these are my data, sample data. For birth data, labeled as birth data 1 with birth weight, gestation weeks, mother's age, and sex. So you can see they have missing values. Okay, and we are going to assign some values in these gaps using the fillna function. So let's go back to our Spider IDE and import our data. So let's start. Data frame, the name of my file. Choose read CSV file because I saved my file in CSV format, and the name of my file is birth data. Birth data 1.csv, and then I would like to see this file, the data in this file. So I command print data frame, and then I would like to print a separate line. This is just for output visualization. Separate a line, and then let's run and see what is inside. Okay, we have this our data. We have already imported the data. Now let's see how we can replace these gaps with some meaningful values by the function fillna. So if we create a new data frame, df1, but this will have some value replaced, the data of the originally placed with some values in the missed values. Df dot, as I said, we are going to use the fill function fillna, and let's pass inside the function 0 value. So a 0 value to replace all missing values in the data sheet that we have. We print if we run this one, you can see we have the birth weight, gestation weeks, mother's age, and the gender. So if you can see here and check clearly, you can see these two missing values have been replaced by 0. Same for the gender also. Here they have been replaced by zeros. All the missing value have been replaced by 0 because we commanded the function to replace missing value by 0. Okay, this is one way, but if you are looking for further analysis, 0 will affect your analysis, because suppose if we want to compute the standard deviation, mean, or whatever, zeros will mostly affect your analysis. So let's do something which will be meaningful to our function. Instead of 0, let's use other way, because the fillna function, I'll show you at the end of this tutorial in the Panda documentation. It has several methods, so you can pass some methods which will give you a meaningful value into the missing value. So for instance, if we say, let's use the method, there is a method called forward fill, that is ffill. So this method actually replaces the missing value by taking the previous value next to the missing value and fill the gap in the missed value position. So if we run again, you can see this is the original data frame that we have, and you can see the 38 have been carried forward, replacing the missing value, this one, and after filling it, the function also commanded that value to be carried forward and fill the next missing value. So the same for the 7th row. You can see this one should be filled by 42, as you can see, this one. The same for the gender. After the this is in the second row, according to Panda. This one is the second row. You can see the male have been carried forward and filling the gap in the next row. So this is how you can fill using the method forward fill. Also, you can use the backward fill, B fill. That means it is the opposite. In this function, I mean this method, it will take the next value to the missing value and take it back and fill the gap in the missing value. So if you run, you can see previously we have 38 carried forward. This time the 39 will fill these missing values. You can see this one. Okay, so you can see for the 7th row we have 42 down, the same, but you can take from 6th row of the birth weight 37 something, you can see here. Okay, so this is another way of filling the missing value. Instead of assigning a particular value, you can pass in a method to do that. But also, if you think that these methods will cover for something which is you don't like for some columns, then you can create a sub-function, I mean sub-command for certain columns. Okay, that means you can create a dictionary for the missing value for some columns. That means let's say let's pass a dictionary. We want to fill just certain column with certain value, okay, and certain column with certain thing. For instance, if you can go back, you can say in the previous, when we used the 0 value to replace the missing value, you see when we commanded 0, 0 goes up to a 6 column. Okay, so maybe this will not give you a clear meaning because you cannot assign a 0 to this. So you can also specify which column to be filled with which value. So now if we want to do that, we have birth weight, and maybe we need that the missing value in that column to be replaced by 0, just for practical purpose. Let's put 0. And also maybe you need the gestation weeks also, because it is numerical. You want to you want them to be replaced by 0 because it is a numerical also, and also the mother's age to be replaced by 0 again, and lastly the gender to be replaced with a string, let's say unknown. Okay, so this we assign certain value for particular columns. Okay, that means we are going to replace missing value in the birth weight. Whenever there is missing value, replace it by 0. Gestation weeks, wherever in this column we find the missing value, replaced by 0. The same for the mother's age, and for the gender, replace it by this string unknown. So if we run it, we can see now the gender here missing is unknown. Okay, wherever there is a missing records on the gender, we have unknown, replaced by unknown, and wherever there is missing value in these three columns, replace them by 0. So you can see the 0 have been taking place. So that is how also you can command for subsection. So this is the fillna command or mini function that you can use to replace some missing value. Okay, so the last thing we need to discuss here is the let's stop this function. I would like to share with you is the interpolation function. So the interpolation function basically is a little bit making sense on if we want to replace missing values, especially numerical missing value, by certain values which basically is approximately equal to what have been missed. So interpolate function have several methods inside it, but I'll just show you the trivial one, and at the last of this tutorial I'll go through that interpolation in the Panda documentation to show you the methods which basically used in the interpolate function to estimate the missing value. So let's use the df1 as a new function to be the function which have been modified. That means the missing value have been replaced by certain value through the interpolate function. So df.interpolate then df is here. So if we print, you can have a new file with some replaced value which is not 0, but they are approximately the values for gestation weeks and the birth weight of the child is the same as the mother's age. Maybe this will make more sense because if you want to go for further analysis, this will not distort your analysis because it helps some functions which you can command to estimate your value depending on the nature of your data. So by default, the interpolate function it performs the interpolation using the linear interpolation method. So there are other methods as I can show you in the last part of this tutorial. So this is how it works. So let's go to the Pandas documentation and show you these methods. How do fillna function works with different methods as far as other arguments that you can pass into fillna function to modify the missing values as far as the interpolation method. Let's search for Panda documentation for fillna function by searching pandas fillna. So if we search this one, we have this pandas data frame fillna. So let's click on this for more about the fillna function. As I said, you can see parameters or values that you can use in fillna function. So the fillna function it takes self or single values, or you may pass some methods. Okay, as I said, you may use axis, in place, false, and these parameters, for instance values, so they have been defined here. Values can be a scalar, a dictionary, series, or whatever. And the methods as we used, we have backfill, which is bfill. You can write backfill like this or this way. We have pad, forward fill, and so forth. Also we have axis. So this axis basically commands to the methods of backfill or forward fill to fill the missing value in horizontally instead of vertically. So it will take the left value to fill in the next missing value. depending on the method, whether backfill or forward fill. If it is backfill, it will take the right value of the the right value from the right-hand column to fill the missing value in the left-hand column. We have in place limit. The limit function basically is an addition. When you are using forward fill or backfill, you can pass this argument limit. You limit the forward fill or backfill to fill only once or twice or 3 times if you have 2 or more consecutive missing values. So this one is used to limit the forward fill or backfill method. So this is on forward fill function. In case of interpolate, we just go to the search part of this part, interpolate. We search for interpolate. Then we go for the pandas data frame interpolate. So we can see we have the interpolate function here. We self methods. With the method we have linear. We have something like axis. You can set the axis to interpolate horizontally or vertically. You have to limit the interpolation. How many times do you want the interpolation to work? And the in place and the other limits direction, something like that. So these are the definition of those things in an interpolate function. So you can learn more on how you can modify your missing value with the interpolate function using this Panda documentation as far as the fillna function. Thank you for watching, but don't forget to comment, subscribe, like, and share. Bye.